Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and welcome to our Saturday reading. So, hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day or evening whenever you run across this. There's been a lot of activity in the energy, but it's also there's this welling up of positivity around you in the background, and I've especially been able to pick that up in my meditations this morning. So just kind of bringing that into it, we're going to jump in where we always do, wherever we left off yesterday. And I don't know that I'm specifically looking for it to be an extended to yesterday's extended, but it will be interesting to see where this energy takes us. So it'll be a general reading for this collective, as always. It won't resonate with everyone, but if it resonates with you, you may want to take a look at the last few readings, get yourself caught up just so you kind of know where it's all coming from. I'm going to start here with the Fairy Tale Tarot, or maybe I think I'm going to start with, I think this is the Fantôme. Hold on. And yes, that's right. It's the Fantôme Tarot. And so I'm going to actually start with this one and then Fairy Tale Tarot, which is one of those favorites. You guys tend to love that one. I'm going to use that to clarify. And we've got the Sacred Forest for the Oracle deck when we get to that point. So getting started, we're going to get that energetic and emotional backdrop that gives us a little bit of context for whatever we see coming out that requires your attention. We've got the Ace of Pentacles, not wanting to walk through a new door, but this doesn't feel like avoiding the situation is the big issue here. It feels like it's not time to walk through the door yet, and this is something that either you or your person, or possibly both of you, are saying, you know what, I'm okay with that. With the Ace of Swords in the reverse, we have not honoring truths. Not so much that these truths aren't out there or that they haven't been brought to your person, just that they're not yet in a place where they're ready to honor the truths and be able to say, okay, this is something that I'm legitimately going to pay attention to. Just had a whole bunch of cards come out. We're going to take them all. The cards have been very communicative here lately, and I see no reason not to just take what wants to come out when it wants to come out. So we have a couple of queens and a page, the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, as well as the Queen of Cups. So it feels a little bit like, almost like the way these cards came out, blurting out something that does not feel unusual or foreign. This is something where the lesson itself is not what is strange. What is a little bit unusual is the way that it gets blurted out. So this could be your person blurting something out that they kind of would not ordinarily say, and it's just kind of coming out regardless of whether they had intended to say it. It definitely doesn't feel like it's intended. This is that kind of energy, though. This is the kind of energy where if they reach out to you today, or if you have a conversation, you're likely to hear a little more than you bargained for. A little bit more than usual. So I'm not sure that's inherently bad, though. I think we've seen a lot of them guarding their words, not being willing to say certain things. Here, I see them maybe more saying them, but not necessarily following that into action. So that's the thing that I would watch with this. We have the Magician card coming out as well. This is an important day, or the energy around this time is important. It might extend into tomorrow. It may have started with you a little yesterday. There's we definitely saw the Magician card come out some yesterday. This is about having some awareness of an ability to handle, like an ability to navigate things. It doesn't necessarily mean you got it all figured out, but there is some awareness of, oh my goodness, there's a steering wheel in my hand. I get that. So the Tower card just jumped out at me, if you saw that. It's nice that it's on camera, because that way you can run it back and say, is that what just happened? And oh, yes, it is. So we have the Tower card in the reverse and the King of Swords. The Tower card in the reverse is an important piece, and not just because it just jumped out, but more because it's a matter of, we've got the Magician here saying there is some modicum of control over the situation, or at least an ability to influence. There's also the ability to think it through, but there is this underlying tendency to slow things down. And I think that is probably the most important message that wants to come out right there. So there's all of the tools in place to make something move forward, even the ability to think it through clearly, but there's something that is underlying the situation. They feel like they don't have a choice. Look at that. So there's the Lovers in reverse. That's that something has happened that they don't feel like they have a choice about. They don't know how to get around it. There's a lot of regret here. This feels like something that happened in the past that you are willing to work past, maybe, and maybe they are not so sure that you're willing to work past it, or it's difficult for them to accept that you may be willing to work past it. And that almost feels like an excuse not to engage. So watch out for that. You may have a little bit of them making excuses not to engage that don't make very much sense. But I'm trying to figure out if that's before or after they blurt out the thing they don't mean to blurt out. Because I never did see them really, we had the first thing we see is them not wanting to walk through a door, not wanting to honor a truth. So there is a lot of holding back in this situation where they may just be blurting something out. But keep in mind, if you've got somebody who's not able to communicate at all, simply saying hello may be that thing that gets blurted out. So it comes in different forms for different people, and different groups are in different places on the timeline. Different people are in different places on the timeline. So we have a Ten of Swords in the reverse. They're coming toward you, and we've had this energy of them coming toward you because that's been going on for the better part of a month now. I think we're all kind of getting used to the concept of it, even if it, in your quiet moments, feels like it's a little overwhelming. Their energy came your direction, and then when they retracted their emotion, they never really retracted the energy. So it's been kind of feeling like it was coming at you for a little while now, and I feel like you guys are getting used to it, but you're also getting used to navigating that. So there is something that feels like it's almost been ripped back open for them, and that's something that I feel like that's part of the reason that you see them coming your direction right now. Then also with the Queen of Wands, the difference here is they also know why they're doing it. So it's not just a matter of the drunk dial. You may get drunk dialed. However, it is not going to be simply a matter of this person doing something that seems kind of random. They know what they're doing. They know where they're coming from. And we've seen that they have a little bit of that kind of observation. They're observing you from not too far away. This is a person who has that energy of running away, but still kind of watching you, again, from not very far. A lot of that spying energy, but also a lot of this anxiety energy, like you can't know that they're watching you. There's something about that. And if you were to look at it, maybe you would be asking, well, what's the big deal? Why does it matter if I know that you're there? It's a matter for them of vulnerability and of feeling like they have control over the situation. So I'll just go ahead and say that is more important in this case than really kind of anything else. They need to feel like they have the ability to keep certain secrets, and they also need to have that distance. They need to feel like they're not walking through a door, and something about not honoring these truths, that's really the reason. It's also the reason for this underlying push to not move forward on something. But they feel like they gotta move toward you, so that's where it gets a little bit disjointed and awkward, because they feel like they have to move toward you because of this unresolved issue, and yet they've got all this regret over something in the past that when you look at it, you're not really in that same place. You may be concerned about other things. They're concerned about something that you are not as worried about. So that's the backdrop. That's the emotional and energetic backdrop. That's going to be the basis for what we see today coming out. It's a very divine masculine oriented reading. I feel like maybe we just go with that. Maybe we'll see a little bit more about people coming in for you when we get into the you portion of the reading. But for now, I'm ready to roll with this divine masculine who seems to be wanting your attention, but also having a hard time really figuring out what to do with it. What can you expect? You know, what can you expect? What's the energy that's flowing right now? What do you need to know? Okay, we got a couple of them that pop out for me there. So I can never explain properly how things pop out for me. Sometimes it's very specific cards, and then sometimes it is more a matter of just take the top one and the rest of them, the importance starts to fade out of them. Okay, so we've got the Eight of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the Tower, and the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Swords has them doing a lot of overthinking. This Knight of Swords would have been flying straight and true and in your direction, but instead there's all this fear that feels a little bit like a Knight of Swords, or maybe even a Page of Swords in reverse, where there's all that fear, that lack of healing that causes them to run away. That thing that has them observing you from a space not too far away. In fact, when this Knight of Swords goes into the reverse, that's where we really start to see some of the spying energy. Things are falling apart for your person on some level. This is related to a third party. It's something that's happening now, and it is something that has kicked up the reason that the Tower is in the reverse over here with something that they kind of don't want to face, it's because of something that is in the process of changing them on a very basic level right now. So with the Eight of Pentacles, they're not feeling prepared for that. One of the reasons they also want to move your direction, it's for reassurance. You give them a fair amount of reassurance. Just kind of the fact that you're there, the fact that you are always a positive force for good for them. That's something that they recognize. You always want the best for them. You're always willing to do for them. And to some degree, I feel like they use that in you. In other ways, you inspire them. So again, with the Eight of Pentacles coming out in the reverse, they don't feel exactly prepared to handle this situation that's coming your direction or coming their direction. But your energy, your strength helps to make them feel like it's going to be okay and like they can do this. So that's another reason they come your direction. You are not just healing pain that has plagued them for many years. You are also helping them to just kind of bolster them up even through their day-to-day difficult pieces. So watch out that you don't become the person that gives them all their advice, though, because that's kind of counter to the relationship that you were hoping to maybe have with them if you want it to be balanced. It would create an imbalance, and instead of beefing up their ability to handle the situation, it would have them leaning on you in a way that I think ordinarily they would not be inclined to lean on someone. So watch out that you don't become the person that they hold on to in the situation for advice. They need to be seeking some of that advice, at least from others. Not to say they wouldn't describe some things to you or ask questions or get your take on some things, but you should not be becoming the number one, because that's counter to the role that the two of you are supposed to play. It'll end up slowing some of the lessons down that they're in the process of learning. And right now, they may really be looking for someone to be that rock for them. You know, this is someone who, with the Four of Wands in the reverse, may have a marriage breaking up, may have a situation falling apart at work that felt like a sure thing before. There's something here where they are feeling like there's a lot less stability for them. There is an energy in this brewing of jumping into something new. Now, whether it is a new job, it's like they wake up one morning and they suddenly realize they have 24 brand new hours ready to go forward. That's a very positive attitude. They know they're going to win. They know things are going to go their way. And so this is something that kind of sets them off in a place of a decent level of curiosity. So this is an energy that is brewing in them, and it's interesting that we've got it in so many cards, because when I first saw it, I was like, well, it's just kind of bubbling up. You know, this is an interesting thing. And then I thought, well, but it has the potential, not just bubbling up, but it has the potential to, like, when you pull on it, it's attached to a great many things. So if they are able to jump off into a new direction, And that new direction could be a relationship. It could potentially even be a relationship with you. Question is the time right for that? Are you ready for that? So we'll look at that here in a second, because this has them saying, you know what, I'm ready to try something. And then the universe supports them in it and kind of supports their curiosity. So a lot of what we've seen is them coming your direction and not necessarily being ready to give you what you needed from a standpoint of not having been completely healed. So my question would be, are they healed enough to be able to come forward and do whatever this is, whether it's with you or whether this is something that is an effort that happens at work? We see them, this is an honorable mention, but we see them letting their guard down a little bit here in order to try something new. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the tower that's coming down now, and with the stability that they're losing. Once again, you don't want them to reach out to glom onto you for all of their advice purposes, because there's something about that advice is just ringing out. Not to say don't give them any advice, just recognize you shouldn't be the primary source whenever this happens. Let them hold on to you, but make sure they're also holding on to something else as well. So I don't know how we don't look at this in the extended. I mean, this just had like 4 cards pop out saying they are going to hit basically a wave. There's this energy over here that feels, I'm not ready to walk through a door. I'm not ready to honor my truth. I'm not ready to do all of these things. I still have some regret, some fear holding me back. And yet there's this energy bubbling up that's about to kind of take them. It's the opportunity to take them by storm. Now, by all means, I feel like they could just ignore it and it would pass by. So they're going to do different levels of engaging it, I would imagine. Some none at all, some quite a bit. If they engage it, there's a lot of potential here. That's one thing that I will say. With this Queen of Swords, I also see that things could change with them relatively quickly. This is something that could move relatively quickly. So again, if this is something that is associated with you, whether it's a job thing that's associated with you, or whether this actual change is associated with your relationship, I feel like we need to look into this when we get into the extended to see a little bit more about this as it relates to you. And because even if they just go out and start learning things, that's going to impact you. So let's see what that's going to be. Because I see a Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Things get a little bit rocky for a while. They get, it feels like the darkness closes in on the path and they aren't sure if they're on the path. So it's not necessarily an attempt to get off the path like intentionally. It's more a matter of it just sort of works out that way. It does put them in a position to be able to open a new door. So we see that everything falls into place for them, and that there is this curiosity that kind of gets opened up in them. So this is really exciting. It's like a springtime kind of energy. And obviously this is only one of the possibilities that can happen as they go forward. So I guess I'm curious to understand, if they take the opportunity, the way that this energy comes up and they ride this wave, what exactly does that mean? But I'm also curious to know what happens if they choose not to ride it. Is it just, it comes back at a different time? They're still able to walk through a door? Or is it something that is kind of a 1 in a million opportunity? And that is unclear to me. So I think those are the things that we look at when we get into the extended. Is this something that is a unique opportunity? Is it something that looks like it's going to, if they don't take it, they have the opportunity as it comes back again? Or is this a shift for them? Or is it a once in a lifetime type thing? What is exactly happening here, and how does it impact you? Because this could have them moving in your direction or doing something that impacts you on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So we'll take a closer look at that, because it's a direction change for them. And it feels very positive, but I'm left with a lot of questions about, are they ready to do right by you? And if not, is there anything special you need to know? So we'll look now at where your focus needs to be. This is the you portion of the reading. We do it every day, because we used to do once in a while, we used to do a what are your lessons reading, and it was not often enough. Basically what we discovered is we need it every day, because this is a collective that really gets into, healing, you know, and so we can't ignore it. Every single time we do a reading, we need to look at what the focus needs to be for you. So far, we have the Queen of Swords in the reverse and the Six of Swords in the reverse. May feel like a busy time, but I feel like you're having the ability to kind of slow down time. You also have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, this is you. This is a great time to be you in some regards because you have figured some things out. Now, the fact that you haven't figured everything out is perfectly fine and to be expected. However, you've done some pretty impressive things here in this energy. I would say with the Six of Swords in the reverse, this is you being able to maintain at least a positive direction, even while things are not necessarily super smooth for you. Like the energy may not be moving smoothly for you, but you manage to maintain a pretty good momentum anyway. And with this Queen of Swords in the reverse, I don't see you being in a rush about it. I see that you are, you know, maybe trying to figure some things out about what your right path is going forward, but you look good doing it. And you are recognizing what's important about the situation. So where you're seeing, okay, hold on, there's something to grab here. There's some place where I need to invest in myself. Definitely honor that because you have an ability to see that right now that a little bit more strongly than usual. Eight of Wands is a card of fast moving energy and dramatic energy, but I don't feel like it's a problem. I feel like this is something where you use it in your favor and you call it momentum. You know, I mean, it's not, you're just, you have a very calm, cool, and collected sort of way about you, but I don't know that you necessarily feel it. There's a perception that, that you're kind of barely keeping the train on the track from your standpoint, but from the outside, it looks like you are much more together. You might want to take a moment and think about the fact that you are actually getting things done. You know, I talked earlier about slowing down time, and that's something that, you know, it sounds like a joke, but it's if you imagine time, the moments as being beads on a string, I like to say that you can pull that string, you can stretch it, and the beads will have a little bit of time, or they'll have a little bit more space in between them. So what it ends up feeling like is like when you're in the middle of something that's happening, you're getting into an accident or you're falling or something, and time seems to slow down. You can do that intentionally, and I learned how to do it through meditation. So when things get a little crazy like that, I have the ability to just sort of, you know, perceive it as these moments that have space in between them and be able to address the moments and navigate them a little bit more smoothly. That's something that has allowed me to work better in the workplace. It helps me respond instead of react to a lot of things, and I feel like that's in your energy right now pretty strongly. So if you would like to cultivate that, meditation is the fastest and best way that I know to get there. You have the Ace of Swords coming out for you, and this is saying that there are some truths that you are having to face about yourself. I don't know that you're having a hard time doing this. This feels like I got a description yesterday from somebody who feels sad in the morning sometimes, and there's this existential drama that starts to kind of grab her once in a while. And so yesterday she took it, she just sort of rolled with it and just, where is it going to take me, what is it going to tell me? Told her some pretty interesting things, but none of them were especially painful. And now we get to see if that pain comes back, or if that existential sense of fear comes back. Let's see, I just dropped a couple of cards. Oh, they're both face down. Okay. I hadn't seen what they were before they went down there. Sometimes I drop cards and it's really, they're kind of a significant thing that they hit and you get to see them. And when they hit face down, then I just think I'm clumsy. But I'm standing, so they fall all the way down. Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles. Oh, 10 of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. Okay, so the things that you decide going forward, in this space where you are right now, you have a pretty significant impact on just your daily life, not necessarily your future daily life. This is very much in the moment, something that you're able to impact. So you're making an impact on your heart rate. You're making an impact on your health. You're making an impact when you change your breathing. You are changing everything that's happening in your life right that moment. And that is, so we know of breathing as like a way to communicate to your body, but it's also like a way to interact with your world. So I feel like there's something in the breathing here. There's also something in not making mistakes that you have historically made. Not getting wrapped up in something that occurred in the past either, allowing your future to kind of unfold before you and then confidently walking down that road. Sounds easier than it is, but it's once you have a decent momentum going, it feels like it will be a little bit easier. That's what that Eight of Wands was telling us. We've got an Eight of Cups also. So you're going on a search for something. It's not a short search. So it's not something that you're just going to one and done. All of a sudden it's taken care of. Oh, I dropped another one. Face down. You're going to go on a search that's going to take a little bit of time. That feels like a bit of becoming. And it's not something to be rushed. This also isn't bad. So you have some roads in order to do this. First off, you're not ready to kind of walk down this road just yet. I'll just go ahead and say that. You're not quite ready to walk down the road just yet. But as you start to evaluate your options, you're going to realize it's not a simple thing, because you have a lot of options. You have more options now than you have ever had before, and they are not necessarily easier to pick. So they may be that you may be that much better at navigating any one of those roads, but it's not necessarily going to be easier for you to figure out which one. Take your time. There's a lot of a sense of take your time. You don't need to rush, but allow the momentum to carry you and honor those truths. You see your person not honoring some truths over here, and it is slowing them down. You are honoring yours, and it's going to allow you to go with this flow a little bit better, which ultimately you're going to want to do. So I'm going to take us into the extended now. We're going to take a look at what's happening with your person, and really it's kind of this opportunity for fate to come pick them up is what it feels like. Now, again, what happens if they miss it? What happens to you if as they catch it? Is it you? Is it about you? Is it relevant to you? Is it something that's going to be impacting your life significantly? We see that you can impact your life significantly. You're going to want to keep doing that, because it allows you to have some modicum of control. However, in your situation with this person, control is not necessarily what you need so much as that ability to go with the flow. So let's see what's coming at you from the changes that are coming up potentially for them. And I'll see you there in the extended. So the link is down below. I'll either see you in the extended, or I'm sure I'll do another reading tomorrow. And I think I called this also the Saturday reading, and I apologize. This is our Friday reading. I should probably realize I still have to work today. I'm already moving ahead. Anyway, I'll see you in the extended, or I will see you in tomorrow's reading.